Alright, so just to make this clear, so you're basically supposed to get 15 per day. Not 15, 45 per day. So as you can see right here, adjust the quantity to make the total amount of materials is 100. Not 100, 1000. Convert overload is level 4. Now, what this means is that it takes 1000 total. Hence why you see 500 right here and 500 right here, if you're using both of them. You can also switch and use one type, like enhancement, or another type, like evolution. You can use evolution only sometimes, and you can use enhancement only sometimes. So, like, say, for example, you see that my enhancement is it's almost out. Well, then that means I can use my evolution instead, so I have more. Now, when you get to 4, you don't want to convert on level 4, and the reason why, because it takes up so much material. I fell in this trap when I was the very first day that it released. I fell in this trap and I wasted months worth of material in just a matter of seconds. I didn't know that I didn't know what the stabilizers do. So when you get to level 4, you either want to go here, you either want to go here, you want to do aspirations, which is why I said that housings is a must. Housings is a must because if you do housings, when you get to level 19, say if you're like housing level 17, when you come back and whatever, if you do housing at level 19, you can get a stabilizer here. So those are your two main ways to get stabilizers. Now, let's go back. So those are the two main ways you can get stabilizers. As for mutation points, you can run the dungeon, or you can run the dungeon like 3 times, the PNA dungeon, which you'll see in a minute. Give me a minute. Here we are. Ah, or you can run this dungeon. And here's the thing. This dungeon has passes. But how you get passes is that you need to complete the quest to unlock it. Yes, you need to complete the quest to unlock it. You're going to go into it's going to take you to a dungeon that's going to be above this one right here. You'll see it. You'll see it when you first get the quest. If you do that quest, and then you go talk to Jisoo, who is in Purification Ops, and then you come back to Bona's going to give you a pass. You can actually Grandbox that pass. Yeah, I found out. I hovered over it to make sure, but you can actually Grandbox that pass. And you can also, if you continue following the quest line to unlock the mutation PNA, you can also get an extra stabilizer that way. So that's how I did it. I did my quest. I did quests on 9 other alts. I did it on my 8 buys, including my Wolfgang and my Yuri. So that's 10 alts actually. I did it on 10 alts, and I was able to get 10 extra I was able to get 10 extra mutation stabilizers, and I was able to get 10 passes. So 10 extra days that was shaved off from my PNA grind. So 10 days that I can use to do anything else now, which is good. So I saved 10 days worth of time. Now, the PNA. Since I finally have it done, I can finally show y'all. Well, you can still do whatever y'all can still do whatever y'all want, per se. Y'all can still do whatever y'all want for your PNA and everything. It's all up to you how you set up your stats, your overall stats. So, of course, in every single PNA, you're going to see that you only have 1 damage increase there. So that is a mandatory. You've got to get it. You got to get it. Now, this is for every PNA. Level 5, you always need to get this one because this is extra damage increase. Here we are at level 10. Now we're gonna do Placardus. We'll just call it Dragonish. So here is Dragonish. Airstrike, back attack, and chase. Now, I chose back attack because Bye is mostly forced back. And so since Bye is mostly forced back, unlike every other Bye, I build back attack. Hence why I have back attack. Now, MP, HP, I chose MP since, well, I mean, I'm always spamming skills and everything. I could use that extra MP. And as for this one is probably going to get some mixed feeling. So, I don't choose this one, even though I know it will give TCP. This one will actually just give you more TCP, but I mean, by all means, if you want to, hold on 1 second while I just step in real quick. I mean, if you want to, you can. I'm not saying it's recommended. If you really want to do that good old-fashioned damage, then, well, go for this one. You mainly want to go for damage increase on every single PNA. Every single PNA, you want to go for damage increase. How else are you going to do your damage? But by all means, if you want to go the TCP route, then yes, you can go for this one. Go for this one if you're a dumbass and want to go for TCP. Okay? Okay. Now let's move on to machinery. Machinery, I chose damage increase. I chose attack speed. I didn't want to go for this one because I didn't want to take the risk. Yeah, I didn't go for this one because I didn't want to take the risk. So I went for this one instead. Alright, let's see what we got here. Skill cooldown reduction, cost reduction. These two are supposed to make up for the minus 50% skill cooldown reduction, cost reduction. That's why they have this here in this mutant PNA. I just went for this one since, well, I have enough attack speed to get me by, and I'm already always running out of skills anyway, so more attack speed would just be more troublesome. So I chilled out with I chose this one instead. I went cooldown reduction instead of cost reduction, but it doesn't really matter since my skill cooldown reduction and my cost reduction are already over 40%. Keep in mind that the cap. This is the reason why I didn't restructure it. Listen closely. The cap for skill cooldown reduction and skill cost reduction is 40%. Now let me say this slow and more clearer. The skill cost and cooldown reduction cap is 40%. If you have over 40%, it is damage. The cap for skill cooldown and cost reduction is 40%. If you have over 40%, you are good. Okay? Okay. Great. Glad we came to that understanding. And of course, I went for damage to increase. So, next one. Humanus. I did all 4. Since I'm hybrid, here's the thing. When you do this one, pay very close attention to the details over here. The genes over here. Now, you're probably wondering why I have purple. If you're physical, you're going to go for red. That's for anything, for any symbol where you see red, blue, and purple. Remember, red equals physical. Blue equals magic. Purple equals hybrid. If you're hybrid, go for the purple one. If you're physical, go for the red one. If you're blue, if you're magic, go for the blue one. Okay? Okay. Now this one, you have total HP. Yeah, total HP, total MP, and then you had phase regeneration. Well, I got this one because I have well wings. So I have Whalewings, yeah? I have the Whalewings. I like to abuse my stacks. That's how I get my power. I pay very close attention to my stacks. You know how in the importance of freeze video, none of y'all see it, but in the importance of freeze videos, I told y'all to pay very close attention to the stack splits, the buff splits. The buff splits is literally above your skills. You'll see it. It's very noticeable. Well, you're probably wondering why I randomly awaken or I randomly use freeze in dungeons. That's because I'm abusing my stacks. So the Whalewings, each time you awaken, you get an extra stack. If you awaken 10 times, you get the max amount of stacks for the Whalewings. AKA, you'll see it if you hover over it. It's called Liberation. Liberation is probably a different name now. But yeah, I randomly awaken to increase my stats for that buff. So the reason why I went for this one is because I wanted to increase the stats for my buff. That's why I went for that one. The other ones, I guess you can go for it, but I just personally went for this one. If you're more I'm gonna be more careful, whatever, you can go for these two. But if you're like, trying to do damage and shit, you can go for this one. And of course, as per usual, I went for the damage increase. Now let's move on to Lapis. Damage increase, you know the deal here. Physical, magic, hybrid. Red, blue, purple. You know what to do here. HP or MP. Now, I chose this one. I chose this one because you're mainly going to use this PNA for Red Death. This one is War Games orientated. So level this one up if you're War Games orientated. Now, the boss he uses on is Red Death. Y'all know how Red Death be walking around with that fire and stuff when he be before he starts shooting lasers and stuff, before he's doing those that final phase. Okay, let me try to be more specific. You know the second to last final phase where he's walking back and forth. It's after the lasers phase, the very first lasers phase that you see in the boss fight. Okay, do you know when he's walking back and forth with the fire? Okay, that's why I have the HP. Now, if you're a reckless ass like me, who ends up walking in that fucking fire and losing HP, this is helpful. So that's why I went for that one. And of course, the damage increase. Now let's move on to Incessant. Damage increase, you know the deal here. Now, total HP or MP. Doesn't really matter. You can go for either. I just went for HP since I don't really care. But you can go for either. And of course, damage increase. And finally, Ardeus, aka Deep Sea or Marine. Of course, the damage increase. Air, back, chase. Just choose the one that goes with your build. Choose the one that goes with your build or greatly helps your build. Now, same thing here. Red, blue, purple. And then finally, the damage increase. So, to shorten this, just read what each gene does. My advice to you is that you read before you put this shit in here, before you put the shit in the main column. This right here is the main column. These are the choices that you can choose for. These are the choices that you can choose for each column. Okay? This right here is the main column. These are the choices that you can choose for each column. So like for example, since I chose this one, this is in the main column. Since I chose back attack, this is in the main column. This is the main column. The main column that's being used. Okay? So that way, no one else will get confused on Mitten PNA. Alright? Alright. Now that we're done with that, and I explained that, This one is going to be used for Mech Raid or Morax per se. Mainly, the two most important things is Mech Raid, which will soon be coming to CC, and Morax. Use this for Morax. This one will be used for Wolfgang, Centum, Gina, and okay. This one will be used for Wolfgang, Misuk, Untouchable. I'm giving you the important ones. Misuk, Untouchable, Gina, Omega Knight, Wolfgang. I think it's used for Irina. Yeah, it's used for Irina. This one is used for Mephisto. You'll see a Mephisto, but you may want to use this one for Red Death. This one is used for Roach Raid, or the content that I used to call Roach Raid, aka Beelzebub. But you'll also need this for one of the newer wargame bosses. We have two new wargame bosses. One that's Ardius and one that's Inception. You will need this Mutant PNA for the new boss, for one of the two new bosses. Yes, we have two new wargame bosses. One of them is Insectin, and one of them is Deep Sea. You'll need to level this Mutant PNA for future content. Hence why, in one of my advice videos, I was talking about future proof. Hence why I went out of my way to level all 6 of them. For the time being, this one is mainly used for Asmodeus Raid or Asmodeus content. You can also use this for Mist Erosion in case you feel like, flexing and doing that sexy damage. And if you feel like doing that sexy damage along with the buffs that you have for Mist Erosion, you can also slap this on and just watch the beautiful damage. But you mainly want to use this for Asmodeus content. You're also going to use this for the second new wargame boss that will be coming soon. I'm not sure how soon, so no ETA, but you'll also need for that one. You mainly want to use this one for Hecatoncious or Tiamat content. You can also use this in the Dragon of Sentence. Every boss in the Dragon of Sentence now has Draconus. So you mainly want to use this for Tiamat content and Hecatoncious. I'm not sure about later content and everything, but the content where you need to grind for chips, and then say you're someone like me who likes war games as well, even though war games is not my cup of tea, but that's another topic for another day. You mainly want to use this for Hecatoncious, and you mainly want to use this for Tiamat. But the most important one is when Hecatoncious and Tiamat. You mainly want to use this for Tiamat. You'll also see this. This will be before where it says damage increase on Draconus. Before this said question mark. Now the stat has been revealed, and now you can see that there's damage increase on Draconus. Hence why it's also important that if you really want to make your grind easier on chips and stuff, because you're still going to need to go to this place to grind chips. You're still going to need to grind chips for future content. So you're still going to have to grind in this place. So you guys having these Tiamat chips and having this receiver is actually helpful. Along with you leveling up this Mutant PNA is also helpful. So, my advice to you is you first want to level up Machine. That's the very first one that you want to level up is Machine. Next one you want to level up is you can choose between Deep Sea or Humanus. So, first priority, second priority, third priority, you will have this to back, if you prepared yourself, you will have this to back you up. So, you can say this is be the third or fourth one you want to level, and then after that you can level the rest of them. You all are welcome.